My name's Peter Anderson and I'm your subject coordinator. In the subject you'll learn about the different types of food found in Indigenous cultures, and you get to compare them in energy and nutritional value to that of a Western diet. You'll also discover aspects of culture that are intertwined with diet, so quite often everyone, even so-called Western diet people, have beliefs that are intertwined with different types of food, and we tease some of that apart in this subject. So the next thing you're probably wondering is, well, what do I have to do to complete this subject? And the first thing that I would like you to do is to open the subject outliner and have a look at the assessment items. And I'm just going to talk briefly about the assessment items now so you're prepared for it, so you know what you need to do for this subject.
Open up the subject outline by clicking on this link here. And you've got two options. You can print out a PDF version, a printable PDF, or probably more conveniently, it's easier just to read on screen. Sometimes if you go down to the assessment items, which is what we want to look at, and open that box up, and then you can see the three assessment items for this subject. So the first assessment item is a report. Indigenous versus Western diet, value 40% due 24th of April. The second item, the reflective portfolio, you should be starting straight away and working on that throughout the course. So that's pretty much your coursework, modules 1 to 3. You'll write that up into a Word template that's available from Interact 2 as you go, and that's worth 30% of the marks due 22nd of May. And the last item is an oral presentation that you will do in PowerPoint on medicinal foods, and that's due the 31st of May. Next thing to do is to read through all of the assessment item front matter in the subject outline. So assessment item 1, the report, has a fairly good description of the tasks that you need to undertake to complete the assessment item. And remember, you'll be doing this over a number of weeks, and I will be giving you a few tutorials, and I'm always there to help if you need help. So make sure you have a read through this, and the key to being successful in this particular item is to selecting a culture that has food items that have been broken down and written about in scholarly sources, so that you can develop a macro and micronutrient table that will compare a food intake from that culture with a typical Western diet intake. So that's the core of the report, is making that deconstruction of two different diets, if you like, and tabulating it and producing summaries. So you'll be doing that over the next 6 or 7 weeks. So there's fairly well scaffolded there, and so scroll down, have a look at the marking rubric, and you'll see that you also have to make a Turnitin account and put your report before you submit it through Turnitin, and it has to meet the criteria before your assessment will be marked for that specific report. Okay, and that's mainly just so that nobody has to go through, or I hope nobody has to go through, plagiarism, so that you can sort any issues out, and just give me a call if you have any problems with that or you have any questions about that. So here we have, while I'm here, we have the marking rubric. So use this rubric. It's designed to help you maximize your mark. So read through it carefully and use that, like a tick box, if you like, as you're going through your report. The second assessment item, and this is the thing that you should start first in the subject actually, is the reflective portfolio. So go to module 1, open module 1, and start doing the questions in that module set and write them into the Word document template. So ultimately your assessment item 2 will be filled up with answers from the modules 1 to 3, and those answers will be in a Word document available from Interact, and you will submit that through Easts. So that's worth 30%. And so assessment item 2 is probably the first thing you would like to start in this subject, and you'll keep working away on that. And every week there will be postings that you'll have to make from this to the discussion forum. Last but not least, so there's a rubric there for that as well. Last but not least is the oral presentation. So this will be a PowerPoint voiceover on medicinal foods and of a culture of your choice. So one of the important things with this oral presentation in the past, I'll just mention this, I've had some beautiful presentations, very nicely spoken, but make sure you put in a reasonable effort on the research aspect. So the research is probably worth, close to half the marks for providing scholarly sources and references to each of the items in your oral presentation. There'll be a tutorial on how to do this presentation, how to do a PowerPoint voiceover. So don't be too concerned about it. And the one thing you will need for this is some kind of headset with a microphone. So go down to your favorite store that sells these kinds of things, and for $20 or $30 at the most, you should be able to get a microphone headset, or you could borrow one. Just to remember, the first thing to start on are the modules and your portfolio, and to start thinking about what kind of Indigenous group from around the world you would like to investigate and research in terms of their diet.